Hey Hada, we finally got through Genesis 8 after pre-showing this event for so long. And of course, part of it is because the event got delayed. We had Genesis, and
Mhm.
that was all the way back in January, February time. April, Melee season's finally upon us, and having the first event, the first big IRL event of the year being Genesis 8, being one of the most crazy brackets of all time in terms of all the upsets that happened, top 64, Omega Bloodbath, even more than we thought it would ever be. It was incredible. Just to offer my first thought about Genesis 8 is congrats to Zane, congrats to all the competitors, and to all the TOs, the people who ran the stream, the sponsors, people like Papa John's and whatnot. Shout outs. Every single part of this event went off really well, in my opinion. I was so happy
Mhm.
with just being a spectator from home. I wish I could have gone. You wish you could have gone, but
Oh
it
yeah.
was it was awesome just to be a little teeny part of the history of the event, even if it's like the teeniest part to play. Oh, hooray for spectating! But seriously, it was so cool. Hada, I mean, where do we even start with this?
I mean, it's you got to start with the upsets, man. There was upsets aplenty. Two major ones for sure, and the first one actually was the first major upset to be reported was Aggie, Midwest Peach, over the likes of Moki. So Moki dropping into losers relatively early, and then Colorado Melee Rejoice. We had Fizzwiggle, aka Fizz, aka Evan, over number one seed Mango. I believe it is the highest recorded upset factor on PG stats in ever. So that was an upset factor of 11. So that means there was 11 tiers of seeding between the two players. So yes, the one seed versus a literal player who's never been ranked top 100. Fizz was honorable mention, I believe, 1 year. He was on the ballot 2 years in a row. I think it was 2018, 2019. He was on the ballot, but never made never made the list. But yeah, and I feel great about that upset. Part of me is sad. I've been a member of the Mango Nation for 4 or 5 years, a long-standing sub, but I actually graduated high school with Fizzwiggle. So we actually got to know each other when we were like 14, 15 years old, and we've been friends for a very, very long time. And so seeing that upset happen on Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, and my girlfriend and her friend walking into the apartment to hear me screaming my head off at my desktop is
It's on
definitely
stream.
was such a it was on stream, super super amazing. And so yeah, big ups to Evan. Fizzwiggle fans rise up, and of course, moving even further, the absolute another psycho chic. People can't stop talking about them is Jmook, man. Jmook, everyone knew had the sauce. Jmook actually historically beating IBDW at their first tournament. So it's a little bit of deep Jmook lore, but Jmook, I think Tafokin's tweeting about this today. Is Jmook is the most complete Sheik currently on the planet. The technical skill, matchup specific knowledge, as well as just very good hot cold gameplay, understanding when to full extend on those tech chases and flowchart reads, and when to pump the brakes and wait for a counterattack. And absolutely brilliant player, outrageous run, and just so happy to see all these cool new developing storylines come out of Melee right now.
I just couldn't stop thinking about the the narrating part of the documentary talking about PC Chris being cool. He did all this while making Sheik look like a. Okay, first of all, I'm not someone who says that Sheik is boring to either watch or play against or play as. First of all right, so let me get that out of the way. But there is a little bit of discourse here and there, for the record, that Sheik is whatever kind of a gadgety or relies on too few things, and so therefore is looking for very specific options, blah blah blah. I don't care about that discourse. What I care about is how I watch a lot of Sheiks play, and Jmook somehow, in the same way that somebody like Salt or S2J or Squid the Cat as Falcons all look different from each other. Jmook looks different than a Plup, looks different than a J
Mhm.
Flex, looks different than a Spark. It's insane to me. I saw Jmook do several things that I'm just going, Who does that? I mean, I know that. Look, it's not new. Somebody walking up slowly and forward tilting. I'm sure Ashika's done that before, but in top 8, no, not a shot. Against IBDW on Final Destination, not a shot. That was.
Calling out 3 different dashbacks, just walking with the dashback through on 3 separate occasions. Absolutely outrageous,
I
for
can't believe
sure.
how many grabs J Mook got. Like consistently in all the sets, I'm thinking how he can't keep getting away with this because everybody knows Sheik wants the grabs, especially at low percents. This is insane. How is he doing this?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Jmook whipping out a lot of things that on paper just makes sense, but in practicality, with tournament nerves, with big stage jitters, can be incredibly difficult. So, like you're saying, the idea of overshooting to catch a dash back, the idea of overshooting to catch a wave dash back or a fade back aerial is very, very standard for a top level competitor in Melee. Undershooting and overshooting is very, very standard and needs to be a part of your gameplay, but the ability to find those habits and break them down at that level, as well as the confidence, especially in, like you were saying, Fox versus Sheik on FD, where Fox gets a drill or a shine and just takes you to town. Like that's outrageous. And things even on the technical standpoint, getting a forward tilt back into center stage on the DI and then full hopping through, needle cancel, turnaround, and getting the cross up fair to get to the closer ledge. Like that's outrageous. Like it's a completely different dichotomy than doing something so simple that's so like downloading and destructive to the enemy psyche, to then flip the script and do something so outrageously technical that would have made something as simple as like an F tilt fair, and then the Fox gets back to ledge, but instead we're going to get F tilt into needle cancel, turn around, fair the other way, and guarantee the edge guard. So it's adding 5 extra steps of technical difficulty to where you do get a guaranteed hit going one way. It's I could go about this for hours. I mean, Jmook's absolutely outrageous, and I can't even think any further than looking at Ultimate Top 8 and seeing Spargo get that Top 8 phase sponsorship. So phase Spargo gets announced at Genesis Top 8, and then I can only imagine phase Banks and Temper and all the other phase lads seeing Spargo, and they're like, oh, let's hang out, let's watch Melee, and they're at the phase house and like, yo, this unsponsored player is kind of sick though, and he's kind of handsome too. He's definitely got that chiseled young man jawline. Definitely super good to model the merch. Phase up, Jmook, phase Jmook. Anybody? No, just me.
Too
Phase up,
many
Jmook.
sponsors
I
out
don't know.
there. J Mook is one of the 4 qualified players from Genesis 8 to qualify for Summit 13 and was
Mm-hmm.
kind of saying to Zane, that is E Pengu, in an interview on PG Stats, I don't know if I'm going to exactly make Summit 13, but I'm pretty sure I'll be there. And I'm thinking to myself, J Mook, you crazy for this one. Because I know J Mook has a habit of playing super well at events like Four Loco Fight Light last year in 2021 at an
Mm-hmm.
online event. Showed up, made top 8, and then didn't show up for another event for like 3 months because that's how the JMOOC does. But please,
Mm,
by the time Summit 13 rolls around in the middle of May, if this man's isn't sponsored, they have
that's
huge
true.
problems with all these sponsors. Come on,
Yeah.
you want the hotness.
I'm sure the DMs are open, man. I'm
This
sure those
is
DMs are open.
unprecedented. Well, okay, let me rephrase. There have been some great lower seeded players exceeding their seed and playing super well and placing really high in a tournament, like Wobbles, for example, in Evo 2013. Technically, things
Mhm.
like that have happened before, but Jmook doing it at Genesis 8 in 2022 in an era where we all
Get second.
understand that the level of competition, and for the record, not to be mean to Wobbles' run, but I think about how most of those sets were best of 3, and Jmook had to beat people like Plup in best of 5, beat
Mhm.
IBDW.
Laud best of
For,
5.
say that again?
He was Plup, then Laud, then
Yeah,
Cody. No, then None, then Cody,
with Sheik.
then yeah, as Sheik, man. Like
With Sheik.
it's yeah, you're saying the Wobbles parallel is a great parallel. Sending another unranked or unsponsored player, but that's back in the I guess the birth of esports, big esports teams getting involved in Melee, whereas big esports teams getting involved in Melee is definitely much more practice. It's the the waters are tested. People know sponsorship through Melee players is one way cheaper than it is to sponsor a League of Legends player. Way cheaper than it is to sponsor a Dota or a CS:GO or a FPS player. We don't need a lot. We need just enough to keep us playing and to keep us traveling. And we're going to be grateful for whatever keyboard, whatever energy drink, whatever supplemental sponsor you give us. And we're going to be gracious. We'll do your content, we'll do your photo shoots, we'll do whatever you want. We just want to be told we're pretty. And it's I can definitely see like Jmook holding out. So I think Summit would be the best time for a tier 1 org to reach out to a player like Jmook and to make their debut in Smash. So I'm not expecting, a second C9 sponsorship. I'm not expecting a second TSM sponsorship or or a Liquid sponsorship. We could see something like Optic. I haven't seen an Optic player in Melee. I haven't seen we have Golden Guardians, we have FlyQuest. I'm trying to think of the other LCS teams. Evil Geniuses. We've previously had PBMD. I do believe Envy is Wizrobe. We have
Yeah.
Wizrobe is on Envy. I'm trying to think of all the other esports.
Here's a fun little fact. I was watching Lud's
Sentinels might get in there.
I was watching Lud's restream of Genesis 8. Mango, Ludwig, Slime, they're all talking. And while Jmook is playing, Ludwig is telling a story about how Atrioc, before Genesis 8, was thinking, you know what, I could sponsor Jmook because Atrioc is a Sheik guy. He plays the Sheik.
Atrioc loves Jmook.
Loves the Sheiks. And so apparently tried to make it happen or drop the ball in it or something. Well, obviously drop the ball because could have had like a Mogul Moves mini because Ludwig did the same thing for Zane for Genesis 7, and that was the event where Zane beats Hungrybox to win Genesis 7. It's his first big super major. Of course, Shine 2018 and other events like that, to settle down. So, Genesis is Genesis. It's so cool that for the one tournament that Ludwig sponsors Zane wins. And Atrioc could have had his moment in the sun with Jmook. It's too bad. Maybe Ludwig, to further rub it in, we can be Mogul Moves Jmook for Summit 13, help raise the visibility even higher. And BTS puts on such great events and they get such great viewership. It would be so silly, in my opinion, for you to not roll out your newly sponsored player from any of these esports orgs out there, especially the tier 1s, because Jmook, I feel like, has a lot of potential. Is still pretty young. All that fun stuff.
Oh yeah, I think it's like 2021, something like that.
That's so ridiculous.
I did see a really funny tweet from JoJo, another New York player, young New York player, saying it was like, definitely a great friend of the program. Something along the lines of like, Starbucks employees rise up, and it was just him and Jmook and their Starbucks get up. And that's absolutely hilarious because I have definitely known many a smasher to serve coffee on as a side hustle or as a primary hustle while they're going to tournaments. So, and we've had a lot of great storylines to pop out from Genesis. There's definitely a lot more developments to happen. And speaking of Summit, we do have a lot of great Summit developmental news. And I know what was really cool was Lod was planning on opting into voting, but of course winning that spot through beating Kazu in the Peach Ditto off stream. I believe it was on Alex 19's IRL side stream. But yeah, Lod winning the Peach Ditto to win that spot into Smash Summit. And we're getting a lot of cool VIP news. So specifically, we have Salt actually opting into the Summit campaign. We have, of course, Dark Genix probably making one of the most exciting and content-filled campaigns I've seen in a minute. But we have All Chat's own B-Bats designating themselves as the LOD warm-up session, actually catching that buying a spot as VIP. And another player that I'm super good friends with, also went to the high school with myself and Fizz, is Zealot. Zealot, another top Colorado player, actually getting a VIP spot purchased by their sponsor in Conduit Gaming. So Screestab shelling out some bucks to not only, I'm sure, send those votes directly to Salt, but also send their other super high level contender sponsored player in Zealot straight to the Summit. So Zealot and Salt, yeah, that's a huge power right there. Lots of great practice. But yeah, we have a lot of really cool developmental stories, and I really hope players like Salt get in. I hope that because Salt's definitely a untested player. I think getting something like 33rd at Genesis this up past weekend. Believe had wins over Slug, and a few other pretty crazy players.
Went game 5
But
with Plup.
yeah, game 5 with Plup. That's amazing. Did get force talked on that 5th game if I remember correctly, but
It do be that way sometimes, you know.
it will. Plup will sometimes just plup all over you. But more than anything, I think this is a great time for testing the new blood. J Mook going to be making his debut, and I would love to see, at least for the content, I would love to see Dark Genix get in. But for sure, I think for a untested player to make a really cool run at a summit, I do think Salt might be my guy to really keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I after having spoken with him literally on the podcast last week, it was really apparent to me that Salt thinks about the game in such a way that when he plays against Plup and starts to call out some habits, that's like Salt's bread and butter, and that's really hard
Mm,
for nearly any player to deal with. The good players, though, know what they need to do to reset or to throw out new wrinkles to throw their opponent off their game. And what Plup did was switch to Fox for
mhm.
just one game, throw off some of the habits that Salt was starting to call out, and then switch back to Sheik and roll and
Yep.
win on in game 5. So that's, hey, I mean, hey, good stuff to Plup for correctly calling that out. Because at first I thought, oh, that's a desperation pick to go to
Mhm.
Fox after losing with your Sheik to Salt's Falcon, but good stuff to Plup. And even though Plup actually didn't make top 8, he is not the only one. Mango also missed top 8, and that was because Mango has to play against Hungrybox for either finishing 9th place or moving on into top 8. That was crazy. And
Mhm.
the reason why that happened was because Hungrybox and None play against each other, go game 5. The slow descent, the stomp heard around the world. I mean, that's like the None stomp now, right? You're recovering with high percent versus a 13% puff. You're using
My
your double
God.
jump. You're probably gonna get hit off the stage again and for an easy edge guard. But no, you get the stomp. Hungrybox, according to practical tasks, probably locked out, or very likely
From tap jump, yeah.
locked out
Buffered tap
of
jump.
the meteor cancel, and that's it. None beats
Mhm.
Hungrybox, and now it's Hungrybox versus Mango for 9th place. That's crazy.
Mhm.
All these kind of things that happened for Genesis 8 that nobody could have possibly
Mhm.
predicted. But shout outs to None for making Summit 13 by via playing high enough to place well. Same with Jmook, same with Lod, and then also who's the last person? I named 3 people, didn't I? It's Lod, Jmook, None, and
Hungrybox.
Hungrybox, excuse me. Yes, shout
Yes.
outs to
Mhm.
Hungrybox as well. It's going to be super fun summit, and I
Yeah.
again we could talk about Genesis 8 forever, but at the danger of doing that, I was wondering if you wanted to close us out with any last thoughts you had, and then we can move on.
Yeah, I think actually just a shout out to an old friend from Ohio. It's Spinda. Spinda is one of the best female players in the world. Absolutely incredible content creator as well. Has a really entertaining stream. Actually, they put out a YouTube video which we can go ahead and link in the description.
Yep.
But yeah, Spinda basically did a top 6 worst. Oh my god, it's playing my here. Top 6 worst problems at Smash tournaments. So it's basically reflecting on the do's and don'ts of what makes a really good tournament. Super informative. And coming from someone who's literally been in the scene since she was, I think, 15 or 16, and is now a fully fledged adult. So they've definitely seen many a successful and many an unsuccessful tournament. And yeah, she goes into depth about what makes the appropriate display art at Genesis, what makes good food access to food, good how to we do safe with feel safe when it comes to baggage checks, and is CRT versus monitor and all this good stuff.
What
But
version of Melee you're
yeah,
playing with? Yeah,
one version of Melee. That's yeah. So you
I
definitely a
watched it.
really
Yes,
good
I did.
piece of
Hmm.
content. Yeah, so lots of great pieces of content. So we'll go ahead and link that in the description. So yeah, Laurel did a really great job with that piece of content. So shout outs to Spinda. But yeah, just to wrap up our last bit of summit or about Genesis, guys, please go check out the VODs. absolutely phenomenal sets all around all weekend. And big ups to all the homies. And just wanted to go ahead and give my shout out to Colorado. Guys, stop underseeding Colorado in teams. Guys, we have 0 top 100 players, and we had a team get ninth, 2 teams get 13th, and 1 team get 17th, and none of us are ranked. By the way, just saying, we're in Colorado's in the same teams, and we keep getting seeded to play each other, and we're having to play 18 teams with top 100 players that are just too good players, and we keep smacking them up. I'm like, come on, man, you guys are about to lose to Fizz Phazon and DSJ Secrets and DSJ Conman and Hada Fizz, man. You guys are all about to get whipped up. That's all I'm saying. But it's all's fair in love and war. But guys come out to Colorado, you better come correct with all your doubles teams. That's all I'm saying.
Speaking of doubles, shout outs to Plup and Amsa for winning the bracket, and
Yeah,
a
seeded like 6th or something.
very respectable second place finish by Ralph and Dark Atma, if I'm getting that correctly.
Mhm.
Getting all the way to grands, going past players like it was Ginger and Fat Goku, other teams like that. So really
Aura and Ryobi getting top 6, I think. Double Peach.
That was
That's
cool.
super sweet.
That's super cool. Double Peach. I'm a big Double Peach teams player. Sorry, teams fan all of a sudden.
Mhm.
And by the way, I was so sad. I just assumed because it was Genesis that we were gonna get to see Run Ride and Tempo be playing
That would be
and
sweet.
doubles. I was like, come on, let's see it. But I guess that must not have been the case. I mean, maybe they were there. I don't know. I didn't see them in the final bracket at the very least, so I assume they weren't there,
Yep.
right? Please.
Yeah, one of these days. We did see the exhibition between PewFat and Run Ride Tempo, but I do believe it was 5-0 in the favor of PewFat. But
Yes.
I watched the set. It was definitely competitive. Run Ride and Tempo are definitely the new school doubles team on the block. I think they have a lot to prove for sure. But playing against the likes of PewFat, probably one of the best teams to ever do it, period, with the brief exception of Armada and Android. But it's really cool to see that a doubles focused players, because again, I'm a Colorado Melee player, and we're literally a doubles focused region. Never don't really care about singles all that much. Of course we love it when our player upsets Mango, but
Yeah.
we love our teams brackets. You'll see a bunch of our unranked Arcadian players team with other established players and take top 100 players to the absolute cleaners. But so it's definitely a different game. It's a different mindset. It's a different meta game for sure. Definitely a lot more different aspects to analyze in the neutral game, how to play around your teammates' toolkit. It's doubles is really cool, guys. I would strongly recommend, if you don't get into doubles, there are some awesome guides out there, I believe, hosted by PewPew, of how to be a better doubles player. I think there's also one on SSBM tutorials. But yeah, I just wanted to wrap us up. I do believe we're coming close to time right about now, but just wanted to give us an update on our summit voting right now. And I believe the voting has been up for about a day. So we still have 3 days and 14 hours, 3 days, 14 hours to get to the next vote in, where the bottom 4 players will be eliminated. So right now in the lead, Dark Genix by 10,000 votes over the second place Mech. FlyQuest's own Kadoran currently sitting in third. Sora, Josh Man, so our Australian resident, currently sitting in fourth. Salt in fifth. Frenzy in sixth. Logan in seventh, Sidward in eighth, Sicko in ninth, and Pulse Zone Blue in 10th. So do have a couple other players that I would love to mention. We have Maples sitting in 11th. So Kevin Maples, a proverbial top 50 player, actually kind of showing some life back in the scene in this last couple months. Is super cool. Chape from Chile, currently sitting on 0 votes, but I think if they can rally the South American Melee scene, I think they can maybe
Chape
make a little bit of a
dropped
run.
out today officially on his Twitter, so that would be why.
That makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah, we have some other cool players. Secrets, I don't know how serious that is. Let me go ahead and see what that one looks like. I beat X! It's me, the guy who beat X. Is that what it says?
I mean,
Oh
I have to
no.
assume. I mean, Salt's something to the effect of, I beat IBDW. You because when I mean, if Fizzwiggle entered the voting process, you know the lead off would be I beat Mango. And hey, I watched those games. I've never seen a Sheik poof to Randall so many times in one game. Did it
Um,
like 3 times. Like I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So
mm,
impressive. And then
yeah.
to close out our time, we got to talk about Pound because I will be going to Pound. As of right now, we're
Ooh.
looking at is Leffen going to go or is Leffen not going to go? And we're also looking at Mango TPPing his way in. That is top player privilege in
Mm-hmm.
via sub goaling to go to Pound, and that looks like it's going to happen. I am contributing to the cause because since I'm going to Pound, of course I want to see Mango play in person for the first time because this is going to be my first in-person major. I'm very, very excited. I've only gone to very
Go.
small locals, and those have been super fun. Shout outs to 717, but I've been waiting for this. I mean, since 2006 in a way, just because of how long I've known about competitive, and I've always wanted to see big tournaments, but then I don't because long story short, I haven't. And now we're here. It's happening in less than a week. I'm very, very excited, jazzed up, all that fun stuff. I'm very excited
Let's
to see lots
go.
and lots of people there, including all Chatty Sports' very own Trey the Trash Man's going to be there, and Slumlord is going to be there. We're going to be having a conversation. All that kind of stuff is going to be
Yeah,
going down.
everyone in all chat except for myself, actually. So
No freaking
definitely.
way. B-Bat's
Yeah,
going to be
every
there.
B-Bats, J Flex, MBJ, XOR, they're all gonna be there. So
Let's go. And Hada, I'm sorry. I know it's the new
next
job.
time.
It's
Next
the
time.
Yep, it's the new job, but we'll get to see all of each at in one place, and I probably won't get to be there. Or maybe it's Big House, because I'm gonna try to get to Big House. Okay, well, all that to say, very, very excited for it, and I hope to see anybody who happens to be listening or watching, hope to see y'all there. Come and say hello. What do you do? What are you gonna do? I mean, you know what I look like, right? And I don't know what y'all look like. I'd love to have maybe just one person say, "Oh, I listen to the podcast. Yeah, nice to meet you." That'd be kind of cool.
Mm. Yeah, that'd be really cool, guys. Everyone, go ask Jesse. Go sign their chest. It'll
No,
be
no, no,
good.
no, no, not the signing. No, just come and say hello. Because
Nah,
I'm going to
it's
be
fine.
going
It's
up to
fine.
so many people and saying hello, and I'm going to get so nervous about doing that because you have to be nice, right? But you
Mm.
also, because I'm in the content game, I also got to do the content game stuff, which
Mm.
means, oh, you wanna do stuff, I kind of hate doing it, but I know that's how it works. You got to do it.
Yeah, gotta
So if
network.
one
Gotta do
person
that
comes up to
networking.
me and says, "Hey, do you want to do something?" Even if it's just you want to do a picture or you want to play some games, I would love that to happen at least once because then I'll feel
Mm.
better about doing that to dozens and dozens and dozens of people. It's gonna frazzle me out, but I'm still looking forward to it. This is an amazing time for Melee. We have so many different events aside from Pound. We also have Low Tide Cities happening very, very soon too. We
Mm.
obviously were talking about Smash Summit 13 that's happening in the middle of May, and on it
Double down
goes.
about a couple months.
Nothing but awesome, awesome stuff ahead of us in the near future. Say nothing of Ludwig's event or the Smash, the Nintendo thing. Shout outs to eTost for pointing out today that it's the official 6-month anniversary of the announcement of the Nintendo Panda
True.
thing, and we haven't gotten any updates, but maybe we'll get one soon.
I
Please.
told people, I told all y'all like 5 months ago how skeptical I was of this, and
Please.
I'm not shocked.
But in the meantime, you can find Hada on Twitter at Hey Hada, all the socials at Hey Hada, and then you can also find me at Cypher003. I also have the Patreon thing going, BSM Pod and BSM Pod Twitter. You can find us all of those places. Check the description for Spinda's video. This is very good, by the way. I didn't get a chance to add my thing about that video about we want safe events. We want events when they announce, not a week before. When
Yeah.
they announce the events, we would love to have transparency on things like monitors, version of Melee, what
Mhm.
is not safe for work, what is safe for work, or if you're going to have children, minors at the event, you want to be able to make sure that everything's kosher there. And you want to also be clear on controller rules, this, that, and the third. And I know
Mhm.
how hard it is to do, plan an event, not because I run an event, but because I, by proxy, understand, oh my gosh, there's so many things to do. But we would just love, aside from the super awesome cool trailers that people like JDMH do and Income Tax and everything else like
True.
that, shout outs, it would be also cool if we could get like a little snippet of here's some frequently asked questions. Let's do that. So check out Spinda's video. You get a lot more context and details. I'm going to sign us out by turning it over to you and asking you to offer any final thoughts you have, Hada. I appreciate you coming on
Yeah,
after
man.
spending a whole day at work.
Yeah, it's been a full day. Really happy to be here. Of course, I love always coming out back for the podcast. I had a great time watching Genesis. Super love all the content's coming out. Next time you'll see me in person, unless you're in Colorado, I have the Colorado Arcadian on Saturday, teaming with Big Truck, aka Delaney, super homie.
Woohoo!
Gonna try to do my best, but who knows? There's too many good players around here. Yeah, so if you see me at the Colorado Arcade and you're a Colorado player, definitely come say hi. Next big event I'll be at is most likely Double Down. I already applied for commentary there, so if I get commentary, I will definitely be streaming, trying to crowdfund, do all that good stuff to get my best effort to be out there as safely and efficiently as possible. Yeah, just super love being out here, guys. Follow Cypher and Jesse on all their socials. It's been a good time. It's been a good week, and I will see you guys next week.
Yeah, we'll see y'all next week.